So it's 6:25. This is the special meeting related to, well, the first part, I guess, is the public hearing notice. Obtain views on introduction of ordinance 2021-04, an ordinance adopting an operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 2022. You know, are there any comments or questions? I think we went over it pretty detailed last meeting. We just want to give the public an opportunity to bring up any questions they have on it or anything they would like to discuss about it. If not, then I'll close the public hearing as nobody came forward. 6:28. Okay, we'll go ahead and go into our Town of Iowa special meeting, call to order. And a quorum has been established. Everybody's present. If you'll stand, I'll ask Joe to get the invocation.
Please bow your heads. Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First order of business is the adopt the agenda unless there's something that we need to add. Sure. Motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're gonna, like I say, to recognize those people that came early, to try to get them out for your recognition of our mess up of not having 6:30 on the notice. They sent it out at 6. I'm gonna go ahead and just ask those that came early. The first one, I guess, are you ready, Crooks? We'll go ahead and go on that. Okay, and we'll just get those that are early, and then we'll go back to the others later on. The first, I guess, is Miss Abear. You know, we'll talk about the land on there. If you'll come up to the podium and.
Which one is this?
Yeah, I need a 4-month postponement if possible.
Yeah, and I talked with her a little bit. I said that basically the properties they have is right across the street from the dollar store and stuff. And, you know, she's trying to, it's on Miller.
What is it?
What is it?
210 West Highway 9.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so basically, you know, and we talked about it, and generally they're having a hard time trying to get somebody. They had some things fall through, and just like we've been giving everybody else 4 months, I guess, request that they have 4 months deferment. And then, of course, you know, if things are going on and it takes a little longer, that just get with Crooks, and, you know, and he will also help. You know, we're just trying to get the motion and trying to get people started on that, and we really appreciate it. On your way out, if you'll visit with Keith also, you talked about, you know, you have 3 lots there that, you know, you may want to talk about, you know, talk with him because he's kind of trying to, you know, figure out where it is and may give you an opportunity.
Who's Keith?
The police chief at the back.
Okay, what is the decision
That's
on
the one
this?
that used to be a service station, I think, if I remember right, on Highway 90. It's
No. This one's across the street from the, those houses and stuff across the street from the dollar store on Miller.
On 90.
The first piece of the property is the gas station.
Oh, it is, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And-
Right.
It's on 90, okay.
That used to be Smitty's.
Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, Keith, I'm sorry, I told you the wrong one. I guess I was thinking,
Okay.
Fritzy's, wasn't it? Fritzy's?
It's across from the Family Dollar.
Right.
Across from
Yeah.
Family Dollar. Okay, so what's the issue? What's
well,
the
we're just gonna
determination?
ask that the council grant them 4 months to be able to take care of what they need to do.
4 more since January, is that what we're doing?
Well, I think this was just on, this is the first time it's on the list that the people come
Yeah,
in.
the first time her case came up, we did an inspection. When the inspection came through, we voted for her to come to this meeting.
Oh, okay.
And so we just want to give her 4 months. And actually, we talked about earlier, they're looking to sell their property, and you know,
I'll
it's,
almost give it away at this point.
well, that's why I want you to get with Keith and stuff. You know, we would give you a fair value and stuff on it.
Okay.
But, you know, he's the one, you know, I think would find that very interesting, and he can start the process on all of that stuff.
I move to allow a 4-month extension for Miss Abear, 310 West Highway 90.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You got it. And then, like I say, we'll, you know, work with him on that, but irregardless, you know, if not, you know, if it takes you a little longer than that, as long as you're communicating and making progress, you know, with Crooks and you.
Yeah, I will. Maybe y'all will have another hurricane and take it down for me, huh?
I don't know. That thing's weathered some pretty rough weather,
It
you know,
has,
for,
really, it has.
so.
We'll make an announcement to y'all real quick. I heard y'all discussing how difficult it was to get a hold of me. The people up front, when you call dispatch, they have a direct number to me. So you asked for that.
I did. He
Don't leave-
told me, the lady at the
Don't leave a
desk,
message with them. Ask for my number, you call me and I'll answer.
they would not give it to me. They would not
We'll
call
We'll
you.
take care of that. When you
Yeah.
call dispatch, ask for my number, they better get it.
The
The
other thing,
lady that answered at the police department here where I'm at, I guess, was no help at all. I gave her my story about my son being murdered. Nobody tried to help me.
yeah.
We'll get that rolled out, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna fix that, and that, yeah, one of the things is, hey, Crooks, get you some business cards, I'll pay for them.
I have business cards.
Okay, you know, if you got them.
They don't have my new cell phone number.
Well, get you a new one with new cell phones, I'll pay for them. Don't, you know, let's not have hindrances
When
on that.
people call, the people up front still need to tell them what my phone number is so they can call me.
Yeah,
You
Well-
probably need to tell them that because they won't do, or they didn't do it for me.
yeah,
Like I said, I'm gonna take care of it.
yeah. And the other thing is
If you need help, call me.
the other thing is, Cindy, can you make sure that we put Crooks's new number on our website? So that when they go, we just got a new website up also to be able to allow and help with the communication process, so. We wanna make sure we get that. Ma'am? Oh.
Would you like to announce the number so we can?
Yeah, well, we can do that. I'll give him a second. He can give me that number.
Do I need paperwork showing I have 4 months?
Nope, it's in the minutes officially, so you got it in the best record you can have.
What all do I have to do to this building? Fix the roof and board the doors up?
Well, on those, it's
The
probably,
people that live in the tents across the street keep tearing it up.
well, I know, but I think on this one, they actually had an inspection in the public. The inspector said that it needs to be tore down is what happens. It's
Well,
beyond.
that's all cinder block, I mean.
Well, no, but I think that's part of the problem, is they're gonna have to tear it down if it's not going to be repaired, per the parish's ordinance and stuff. We may have a easier solution when you talk to him back on that, so, you know, let's, you do it. Crooks, can you tell us their number officially so the people in the audience can hear what your number is?
Are y'all through with me?
Take
Thank
care.
y'all.
Have a safe trip back.
7 hours worth.
Over there in Texas. Yeah, that's.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
The number is 337-358-1831.
That's your direct line?
That's my work phone that I have with me. Between 9 and 5, Monday through Friday, you'll get a definite answer. Sometimes after hours, if you call, I'll answer as well.
But he'll return your call if you leave a message. All right. All right. I guess the next person that was here early was Miss Watson. You want to come up and tell us which property you're talking about on that?
First of all, Mr. Crooks, I tried reaching Mr. Crooks for 3 weeks. I went to the police station. The young girl there wouldn't give me any information, none at all. And when I walked out, I wasn't even sure he worked there. And the next week I called and he was on vacation. And the next week I called and I think he was taking classes. And so I just took a chance last Thursday and called again. And I got him.
Well,
and I
that's good.
talked to him.
Well,
So anyway,
I'm gonna give you my card afterwards. If you ever have problems, please call me
that's all right.
direct. I'm,
That's
you
all
know.
right. He gave us his number, so that's all right. I am the grandmother of Jack Allen Watson Jr. Jack Allen bought a little lot from Mr. and Mrs. Litton, William Litton.
Is that 410 South Welty?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's B. It's B. This is an inland lot.
This is supposed to be 408B, right?
Let's see, sir. Let me. Okay, 408.
408 South Welty, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, it's been nothing but a nightmare. Nothing but a nightmare. I made you all a copy of these things. First of all, sure, sure, there you go. First of all, we can't even access our own property, and I'm speaking for my grandson and his wife. The Littons have fenced, they have a fence, and they fenced our driveway. And then they threw all their garbage over onto our lot. So because my grandson moved from there in 2015, there's nobody living there, so there's nobody there to stop them from doing this. And it's full, it's an eyesore. I know that. I know that it is, and I totally agree. It is an eyesore. They've used it.
Can I get a paper of which one you're saying? I'm Miss Litton's granddaughter, and I have no clue what you're talking about. Is there any way you could show me which lot it is? Yeah, no, I have the original papers.
It's real easy.
Right here.
It's real easy here, it's real easy, and then the lid came back, and
I would have brought you a copy.
JW, and it fenced it in, so now there's no access at all to it.
We didn't fence that in.
Ma'am,
We
you
sold-
go out there, there's a fence.
I understand that there's a fence, yes,
See
ma'am.
right here, there's a fence right there.
I'm saying we didn't do it.
We do.
My grandparents, me and my grandparents, we didn't do that.
This is Litton property. It's
It
owned by
is.
him.
Somebody may have put up the fence improperly.
Well, what I'm saying is, the front part, we sold it to Ms. Gale, and I've always been under the impression that that back, I don't know her last name, I've always known her as Ms. Gale.
Are you talking Bill Murphy? You're talking about different property.
I'm stepping in for my grandparents, they're, they can't come, so I really don't know.
Anyway, let me explain. You have a copy of the, you're looking at the diagram?
Look at this
Where's the-
diagram.
Where's the
There you
blue,
go.
where's the survey?
Right there,
Okay.
right there.
Okay, this is the survey. Okay? And y'all can look at it, 'cause I
Okay.
know
And I think y'all have. a
This
copy
part right
of
here
this.
is 408 South Welty.
Okay,
Behind 408, there is a landlocked lot.
That's what we
This,
got.
this square and this tract B
Right.
and all this here is all Litton property. So what they did was, the Littons sold this one little lot at one point.
And wait a minute, they did not, there's no reservation, there's no reservation.
So the access to that lot had always been, there's a ground level duplex and there was a two-story duplex. There is a driveway between those two lots, those two duplexes, that always accessed the double wide trailer and this lot. Well, Bill and JW, for whatever reason, there was a falling out, so Bill Litton put the fence up and blocked off the driveway. Now, he did this a number of years ago.
Yes.
Because I lived at 408, I know exactly when he did it. So, as a
At
result,
2015.
then when JW moved in 2015, the Litton's son, I believe it was, moved into the double wide.
And
they-
fence.
They were putting up the fence, and you guys should remember, whenever they didn't have a permit and they hit a main gas line.
And they had
shut
to-
everything down to the schools and all.
They had to evacuate
That's what they were
everything.
doing, is they were installing that fence at that time.
okay.
So the fence has been there, and
Since
he's not,
'05.
he will not take it down.
Since 15,
She has contacted different attorneys about it, because in the deed,
yes.
There should be a
there's not
right,
there's-
an
there's
easement.
not- There's not a right-of-way that has ever been granted in the court filings,
You,
and the
You mean-
Littons will not give access to the property.
But when we bought the property, they did not reserve any right-of-way, no mineral rights, nothing. So we, of course, bought the property and they gave access to the property, of course.
Until they got mad, and then they blocked it all off.
And then, when my grandson moved down in 2015, they fenced his driveway, so we can't even get into it. Now, before we can do anything and determine what's good, you know, what's the best thing to do, it looks like a dump. I agree with you. And nobody wants their property to look bad like that. And I can assure you I don't. Anyway, I don't blame the town for wanting to do something about it. But what I do ask this council to do is send the Littons a letter to remove that fence so we can even get to it, to even make a determination. We don't know whether we want to repair it or remove it. I can have it demoed and removed.
I guess from this perspective of this meeting anyway, that's a question that we probably need to send to Mr. Bouquet to see what we have, what rights we have and we don't have. Mr. Bouquet couldn't be here. He's got some family
He's
things
familiar
going.
with this because we also have
Yes.
What?
also have prior
Oh, yes.
dealings with him when this first came up because it was presented before the council way back when. But it was initially a civil issue over the right-of-way because there was nothing recorded at court.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. At this point,
So
I
you'll
need to,
remember.
we'll need to get up to speed and see what his recommendations are on that. And then,
If you
you know,
look
at
at
that
the,
point, before we can require them to clean up, if they don't have access to even be able to get there to clean up, it's, it's kind of redundant. You can't, we need to resolve that issue first.
We have tried, we've tried to work with the town at different times on different issues. Mr. Crooks accompanied me 5 years ago over there to talk to the Littons, to talk to the man there that was living in that trailer, which I believe was their son or their nephew or something. And anyway, there was nobody there.
Okay.
But anyway, so there was
Well,
nothing I could do. But
yeah, let me
I
get
have
him up to-
personally asked the people
Well, let me
several
get-
times.
Let me get up to speed with Mr. Bouquet and find out what he resolved and find out what we still need to do. Because honestly, until that resolution, if you can't get there to clean up, anything we do won't serve any purpose. And then, of course, there's a question of whether we would even be allowed access across somebody else's property, even if we went in there to clean it up,
There's a
we-
road,
But wait, here's what
and
he's
we
saying.
built it. My grandson built the road. He had it hard surfaced into his driveway.
Well, I know, but
Do you
that
have a
doesn't,
copy
that
of
still
this?
doesn't mean
Yeah,
we
he
have,
does.
that
But
we're
here's-
allowed
no, here's
access
what
without
he's saying.
clarifying.
I understand what he's saying.
Is that,
We're gonna
Keith,
get with
kind of what
Bouquet
you're
to see
thinking?
Okay.
What the city can do to force the issue for access.
I was there yesterday. I measured, I took pictures.
What I know, but we'll have to bring it to the court to be able to do that. And that's where I'm saying, you know,
Possibly, I'm not for it. Possibly you could order.
To grant access
Just like when we get
to address the problem.
search warrant, we get
Right.
a court order and go do, make an exception to it.
What action?
But we thank you for anything you can.
just
We thank
an
the
action
council
to
for
defer
anything
it
they
till
can
it's
Uh,
reviewed by Mr.
Like I say,
Bouquet.
nobody
And
wants
we
their
bring it
property
back
look like
up
trash.
based on what his decisions
And
are.
this is 408 South Welcome,
Yes,
just to make sure.
just 408, just for 408.
408B, you have to specify B, because 408's right in front of it.
Right, I just want to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to say it.
Okay, that's good.
I move to defer the 408B South Welty to Mr.
Till
Bouquet.
Mr. Bouquet can review it and make a determination on how we need to.
Yeah, he should get rid of the
B.
408B.
408 is in the front. This is in the back. It is not a danger to anyone. It is not seen. You have to go across private property to even get to it.
Yeah, we
So
didn't-
it's not a danger to anybody.
Yeah, well, no,
But it looks like trash,
we're gonna make sure we resolve it.
okay?
That building being unsecured, abandoned, can house criminals that are gonna harass and steal from the local neighborhood.
I
If
think they'd
somebody
have
got-
to contend with the Littons first.
Well, it's regardless.
It's their
all
property.
buildings like
You
that
know,
are
they have to go
all-
across their
This
property.
This isn't a tit for tat thing, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
well, we're
saying
gonna-
it.
This building, it can hold criminals. I know of a few cases specifically where we found stolen property inside that trailer after your son left.
Where you
People left
found
their
stolen?
property in there.
Yeah, there's somebody broke in and just said,
People stole
Oh, I
from the
know it's been
locals, and
vandalized.
They hide
Yeah.
in that building because they
I know
know
it's been
a building.
vandalized. It's been vandalized at least a dozen times, I
And
know
with
that.
it being off, like you said, off the beaten path, what if somebody picks up a little girl on the side of the road and takes them to that house? That's hidden.
Right.
It's
Well,
abandoned.
I
It's
mean,
in
that
danger.
can happen anywhere,
It
you
can,
know.
But he's got a
but
point.
especially in houses that are abandoned and junk like that where nobody pays
yeah.
attention.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna,
We cannot pay attention or keep the lot up or do anything
until
because
they
the
get
Littons
access.
fenced it. I brought
But that's what
pictures.
That's what we're gonna resolve, and then, once that's resolved, the access stuff, then we'll also bring it back up as to how we're gonna take care of, you can only take it one step at a time. The first step is,
Now, we all, once you guys know something about the access, so say y'all resolve it and we're given
Well-
access. Well, then will you guys then notify her like y'all did this
yeah,
time?
yeah, I'll get with Mr. Bouquet to make sure that what it is.
Won't be within 7 days or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, but that's what happens. We'll have y'all come back up here at that point, and then we'll go through the regular process that we go through.
Oh, yes, I have several phone numbers.
Okay.
Sure. 327.
So that's what I'm saying, we're gonna take it one step at a time. A lot of this stuff don't get resolved every time. That's why we're giving people time to work them out.
No,
I-
I am on what
So,
Kelly said.
okay.
I move to defer 408 South, 408B South Welty, pending Mr. Bouquet's review.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you much. Thanks.
I want to thank all of you, and I don't
We'll
know
get
how
there.
much time we've got on this, but we will act according to
What you can do.
Mr. Bouquet,
Yeah.
or whatever,
Like
and,
I said, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, any questions you have, you can call that number and I'll answer.
I'll run you down again, don't worry,
Oh, okay. It's over, it's right at the end right here.
yeah.
When he gets through looking at it, go ahead. Can, Cindy, can you make a copy of that, all that for us? Just make one copy.
They have the survey,
I'm getting the survey, I'm getting the survey.
okay.
We're gonna make a copy of it
Yeah,
for
she'll-
y'all,
She'll
so
get it, okay.
if y'all make a
Yeah,
copy.
make a copy of that survey.
I guess the next, if we're talking about, y'all were here early on the Littons. Were you wanting to visit on that properties too?
I don't really know why I'm here.
Pretty much.
Is it,
I'm just here to stand in their place, like, I don't have nothing to tell you, other than, I know the property's condemned, and we're trying to sell it as is, to be torn down. They don't have,
There's
It's
on
not
the 14.
condemned yet. You're here for the
Huh?
hearing to see if it's gonna be.
That property is
we
14.
condemned.
that's
like,
good. We're gonna get, that's why I wanna make sure.
Like, they're not putting anybody in it. Every time someone comes and asks, we tell them it's condemned.
Yeah, if you come up and give your name here, and we'll talk, I think we're talking about 410 South Welty, is that correct?
Well, they've gotten a paper for a couple of them.
Well, let's talk about all of them that, is on the list.
The yellow one?
Yeah, we got a paper for a couple of them.
Is it 410, 412?
Their house is 418. They even got one from theirs, but they said that she called and y'all said that was a mistake.
No, the 418, that's the address that it's sent to, but some of her addresses, it includes their main property. in the
Right.
parish.
Yes.
Their house isn't what's in question.
Right.
It's a two-story duplex and the trailer and the building next to the trailer.
So that,
There's not a building next to the trailer.
It's like maybe kind of a shed or
It's
something.
That's it's his
full-
shop.
Full shop.
Yeah, and
It's a
that's
big
going with the land.
Yeah,
the
that's
property.
That's one of the ones.
Okay.
Even though it's a shop, it's not a house or.
Okay.
hey, Brandon, just a clarification, can you give the addresses so we talk all three of them while we're talking about it?
So 410 South Welty and 412 South Welty is the ones that are on the agenda today.
Okay, and what was the other one, just out of curiosity, you remember?
I thought it was 14B with the double white trailer in the back.
So there's 410 is the two-story duplex. 412 is the shop that you were discussing, you were saying,
Okay.
and then 412A is the trailer.
Okay.
Okay. And I guess it sounds like y'all are in the process of wanting to sell it or trying to.
Yeah, they don't have money to fix it, and his shop was damaged with the hurricane. I mean, we used it up until the hurricane, and but yeah, they don't have money to tear it down. They have what they got from their house, which wasn't a lot from the hurricane, but we're trying to sell it as is, trying to
Okay.
sell it to somebody who has the means and the equipment to deal with it.
So how long do you think it might take to do that? I mean, realistically.
Well,
don't-
I just got all the paperwork and all the deeds, so now it's just to find somebody. I have a couple of people that I have lined up to go talk to about it.
So if we give you 3 months or 4 months, you know, you feel very comfortable that you'll have that taken care, either sold and the new person handling it, or,
I mean, I don't know in 4 months I can have it sold and they have it completely demolished.
well, no, but
I
once you
could-
sell it, it becomes the next
Yeah.
person's responsibility to come forward and tell us what they're gonna do to it.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable for y'all? I mean, as a course of action that we,
See, could we do like a check-in at, I think a check-in at like 2 months.
we'll give them 2 months in, and
I mean,
just, you know.
Just to check.
Yeah, yeah,
check in
that's
with
no
us.
problem. That's, you know.
I mean,
we give-
like I said, I'm her granddaughter. I have no clue what to do. I'm
Will you be
just-
their
Right,
spokes,
no,
yeah, but
you're
will you be their like proxy, their spokesperson to at least get in touch with us?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yes.
What is your name so we can write it
Brittany
down?
Wilson.
Brittany.
You know, I'm kind of just like going off of people's giving me like advice.
Can you give
Yeah.
him your number or Miss Cindy your number? This,
Yes. 337-842-6229.
Cause you won't make it for 2 months? I mean, that's all your option,
2
is 2
months
months?
check-in.
2 months, okay. A motion then?
Can I say something here?
Yeah,
Now, this building is dangerous. It's a two-story, missing the whole front part. It is. It's on the street. It's on the street. Ours is in the back. This one is on the street. And it's
understand.
halfway taken
I
down. It's
understand,
very
but
dangerous.
unfortunately, we have to go through the process of giving sufficient time to be able to tear it down. You know, otherwise the town will have to tear it down and then we would attach it to the property tax. And I'm sure it would cost more for us to do it than
Right.
do it, so.
I mean, the only reason I'm here is because they can't physically be here.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're not
Well,
in
we'll
the
get, we
shape
get,
or.
we'll give you 2 months, and then, you know, at that point, we expect some sort of resolution, either that sold, or, you know, some plan of action to tear it down, or something. You know, if they're not very well off, we actually had a gentleman who was going to come in for the Mennonite, who was, oh, you're there, okay. Maybe you get with him, because he may be able to help y'all in some way. You know, I don't know. We talked about the various things, so, you know, I mean, if they're, you know, very, you know, not, they're just, you know, I mean, it's just an option.
Okay, I mean, I'm up for anything.
Okay.
Just to
Okay.
deal with it,
All right.
just to get it
Then
dealt with.
we have a motion for 2 months, second?
Will you remind me of the property so I can make sure I say it correctly? It's 412, 410.
412, and 412A.
I move to allow a 2-month deferment for 410 South Welty, 412 South Welty, and 412A South Welty.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And thank you for stepping in and helping
You're
out.
welcome. I mean, I'm just a granddaughter. I'm just trying to
I know
help
it's not
out.
super
Oh, yeah.
fun.
Just trying to do, you know.
Well, we appreciate it, then,
Thanks, Brittany.
okay, I think you were here early with this for one of the properties? Yes, sir. Go ahead, come on up, and then we'll go back to her. I just, like I say, trying to recognize y'all coming in early that.
I
really
appreciate
didn't
that.
need
I am here for 302 and 304 West Highway 90. It's under Chris Duncan.
to. Okay.
302.
And
Like 5th from the top on the front page.
Yeah, that's it. There's no 302.
Yeah, 302's not on here, but I guess, is that coming for a future one?
This shows up as 304.
Well, she said she had 2 of them.
my
Yeah.
letter has 302. We actually own the whole corner and there are 2 properties
Oh, okay,
on it.
so we'll go ahead, I mean, if you want to talk about 302 at this time, this is good
Well,
to go
our
ahead.
intention, Mr. Crook had actually been kind enough to allow us some time to do some work on it. My husband suddenly passed a couple of weeks ago, kind of.
Cleanup, right? And 304 was for demolition?
I didn't get a letter on 304. I only got a letter on 302, but she has 304. But regardless, if I could apply by the end of August, our intention is to have both of the buildings down.
So if
That
we
was
give,
what we were gonna start this past
okay,
weekend.
so if we give you 4 months, that's sufficient time,
Oh,
you think?
that's
if
more
you
than
approve it?
sufficient, yes, sir.
I move to allow a 4-month extension or deferment for 304 West Highway 90.
And
Second.
And 302.
Let me clarify this, okay? The actual building, there's two buildings on 302. One of them was damaged, the other one's still standing, correct? If you want to come. up
Yes,
on that.
there was a.
So this is the one that was destroyed, this was the cleaned up address.
Yes.
This building's still standing, I haven't put this one up for condemnation.
Okay.
This is the one that you're here for, day 304.
Okay.
Okay, now if you're gonna tear that one down by yourself, that's fine, but that's not what's in question today. Just 304.
Okay, 304, I apologize, but yes, we are gonna clear the whole lot.
And that, hey, I just soon go ahead and say it all to make it notice in case we have a
I
problem.
haven't done
Yeah.
the initial process.
No, it would just be 304.
Okay,
That one, because that one's still standing, from the outside, it looks like it could be repaired.
okay, we'll just do, and you made a motion for 304?
Sure.
Well, I'll just kind of give you, the house actually moved, so the pillars that were in the middle of the house have come up through the bottom of the floor. And the seals are broken, so it can't even be moved. Just kind of but regardless, I mean, I know you have to go through your due process.
Well, if you're gonna handle it, then we're not gonna mess.
We don't have to
Yeah,
do
we're gonna
anything.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
we're gonna-
level everything and clear the lot.
Yep, and we're gonna give you 4 months, so, you know, if all it's handled it, it's, hey, you'll be good with us irregardless, so.
Okay.
I move to allow. Correct, yes, sir. I move to allow a 4-month deferment for 304 West Highway 90.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You got your 4 months?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Condolences on your husband.
So sorry.
All right, then, I think that took care of the ones, the people that were here early. Let's we'll go back, I guess.
Abshire.
Donald?
You're
Okay.
here for yours, right? Yeah. What was your address again?
402 South Filbert.
Since we spoke, this man back here, what was your name, sir? Phil Hellman.
And he's fixing to give a talk, so,
He came to me after, we had our talk about how you're gonna fix your house and maybe replace it, and that's exactly the business that he's in.
so
So I would say.
defer 4 months and give him an
yeah,
opportunity
give him
to fix
4
it.
months to update so we can talk to this man and find out what he can do.
Yeah, because basically, he's helping, and he's fixing to talk, give you an idea of what all they're trying to do here in the community. So, if you could give Donald a 4-month deferment.
I move to allow a 4-month deferment for 402 South Filbert.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
We're gonna talk about what he's hoping to do in
yeah,
town.
yeah.
So she said you might want to sit
And,
listen to what he has to say.
and he's not on the agenda, but he's gonna give a quick talk about what he feel, if you'll come up forward here. And then, so that people that watch the video, if they need help,
You don't wanna get Jeff?
we'll get you next.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the invitation, just to introduce myself. And I want you to be aware that our organization, Mennonite Disaster Service, is going to be in town, and we have been working here for a number of months, just simply preparing. We haven't had volunteers here since last November. And we're aware that there are needs here. And in talking with the mayor today and a number of others, Cindy, you've confirmed that there are needs, and we're willing to be here to partner together. We are a volunteer organization. We don't get paid to do this. We don't make any money, but we are an organization that started in 1950. So we've been around for a long time, and the folks that are part of our organization want to give and want to share. We never go into a community alone. So when we come to Jennings and to Iowa, we're not here by ourselves. So we are partnering with Southern Mutual Help Association, who has been on the ground contacting homeowners and exploring what their needs are. And then we've also been partnering with the Long-Term Recovery Committee out of Lake Charles and the 5 parish area, and they have provided us with money. We don't come with our own money, we come with volunteers. And they're willing, they don't take, we had, in 2019, we had 5,000 volunteers who volunteered with our organization. None of them got paid. And we do the same thing here. So what we're interested in is simply for you to be aware that we're here if there are persons who have needs. And we're looking particularly for those persons who are not able to recover on their own, who need help. And we have a vetting process. There's a number here on the bottom where they enter into a vetting process whereby UMCOR, which was one of our partners, meets with the homeowners to determine what their needs are and looks at the resources that they have from FEMA, from insurance, from their personal wealth, from their income. And we're not interested in competing with the local economy. If a person can pay to have their place fixed up, they're not our clients. We're looking for those people who are not able to get back on their own. And so that's who we are. That's why we're here, is to help make a difference. And the reality is we're interested in partnering with you. So we need you to help identify people, to let us know by calling this number. And we're planning on doing a resource fair at some point where we invite people in. They can meet some of the partners, and we talk about what they're needing, and it begins the process for them. It's not quick.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things, Ed, is they provide the labor, so if we get somebody else to provide the materials, they'll build houses.
We will build houses.
You
Yeah.
know, so I mean, that's kind of what he's at, and I want to make sure that people out, and, you know, like I say, we even have an employee may, you know, qualify for this. We want to get out, we'll put it on our website. I just want to make you all aware that, you know, we're trying to do this, just, we need the people in the community who aren't, you know, or, you know, not getting enough, you know, money from their different prospects. You know, this gives them an opportunity to get back in those older houses, and maybe something that's new at low cost.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon. I'll leave my card and information there. But it's not uncommon after a disaster for 6 months to a year to 2 years that goes by before a community really is able to determine a direction for a larger group of people that are underserved. And that's often where we come in. We're generally not the first group to come in, but it's not uncommon for us to be one of the last groups to leave. So we're planning on being here. We want to get to know you, and we want you to get to know us and how we might partner together. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Appreciate you coming forward. Give
Yep.
us. All right, the next one, and I apologize for jumping around, but just trying to get people done. Mr. Cudley, and I know you've got a lot going on too, but we're.
Thank you.
So what I handed you guys was our updated plan for the parks back there. And we started on the Buddy Ball Park and got more of the survey, and were able to draw the whole thing. We've met with Miss Julie to get some of her comments on it, and I think that what we've got there is more or less the direction that this project will go, should you guys want to proceed with it. So that's where it is. The next step is to go into the detailed design, and that's involving Walt and doing the engineering to understand the drainage patterns of the entire site, and then we're going to divide it up into 2 phases, where we're going to look at the Buddy Ball area first, and then the rest of that second. And should you guys decide, you could do it all at once, but you could bite that Buddy Ball off sooner than later.
That too, but then the other one is, I'd like to definitely bite off at least 2 of the fields to get them in order, you know, as early as possible, so that maybe, you know, if we have a chance at next year having them, well, at least have 2 of them in, and then, you
Okay.
know, Maybe do it in a phase 1 or phase 2, you know, for that part of it, because that's something that I feel that we could probably do, and, you know, for sure, we can find the money for at least those two, you know, with everything going, and then
Okay.
it also gives us a chance to figure out what's all going on with everything right now, so.
Understood. Perfect. Well, I'm waiting to hear back from Walt, and then I can present what I
Yeah.
hope is a schedule to you.
Okay.
It's interesting. Everybody's really busy.
Oh, no, I know you're working on the fire board too. We were there last Tuesday, so. And also, just as a follow-up, he's working on, trying to get the replacement building over here on the,
On the
that
water
was
as
destroyed in
well.
the water, underneath there. So, we've got a lot going on, and probably still things coming on too, so.
Yes, it's amazing. I think I've got more going on right now than I did 6 months ago, which is unthinkable.
That's good to keep you busy for a few years.
It's awesome, yeah.
All right, well, appreciate it.
Thank
Anybody got any questions, anything you want to ask of him?
Looks good.
We
All right.
appreciate it, and we look forward to getting those numbers so we can get started on that. And I guess as far as the community center, that's about wrapped up. We're
Yeah,
almost
we
ready
need
to
move-
open up.
Need to move that one into closeout, so
Fantastic.
y'all be able
Yeah.
to start using it soon.
Yeah, we look forward to that too. Thank you
Awesome.
much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, then we'll go back to motion. I guess entertain motion to approve minutes of the regular meeting held June 14th, 2021, and I apologize that we've kind of gotten all.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is a motion to accept, reject bids for the sewer pond fence. That's the 3 documents that you have together. The lowest bid was provided by Mizon. I would ask that you, I guess, approve us to enter into a motion to accept the lowest bid contingent on our review of some checking their sources to make sure that, there's not something unusual that we need to be aware of, but contingent on that being okay, accept it as the lowest bid to put replace the fence around the sewer pond, which is a real high risk to the town if somebody was to drown in it with the fence like it is now. We need to address that as quick as possible.
I make a motion, we accept the bid from Mizon Fence and Deck Pro for $79,000.
Contingent on that.
Contingent on our background check, I guess. on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's a done deal. The next item is a motion to adopt ordinance 2021-04, an ordinance adopting a operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022, with the knowledge that depending on what we find on the field, we may have to do it as well as any other things that may come up, but then that will all come to y'all. A, on the expenditure side, to get approval, and B, to amend the budget, so. If I can have a motion to adopt, or, the presented operating budget revenues and expenses?
Make that motion to adopt ordinance 2021-04.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. The next item up for bid, or the next item is, I guess we need to go ahead and complete the reports of those that aren't here currently present.
Yeah, for the next step, most of the ones that are left are gonna be people that have gotten 2 notifications and failed to show up for either one. I had a meeting with the Lake Charles Ordinance Departments, the building standards. Their recommendation, which I believe Mr. Bouquet made at one point, is that we get a curator to continue the process. It's gonna cost, but the curator is gonna he has a lot more resources than we have to track down any heirs, owners, to make the proper notifications. And once he's run his course, he'll give us a recommendation whether he found people and we should contact them, or if he is unable to find the owners, and he'll allow us to proceed with without any,
Okay.
legal liability.
So I guess we need a motion to allow Mr. Bouquet to identify and appoint a curator for these properties that haven't, the people haven't came and gave us any responses to.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then I guess the,
I got a question, couple of questions
yes.
on what we have here that was in my packet. The ones that are highlighted in yellow, what exactly are those?
The ones that are highlighted yellow are the ones that were on, supposed to be seen tonight. Those are the ones that were notified to show up.
All these in yellow were supposed to be here tonight,
Yes,
and they're not here. What's our next course of action?
that would be the curator.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I wasn't sure, I didn't hear that, so I wanted to make sure. Okay,
If y'all would like, there's some other things that I picked up while I was speaking with the Lake Charles Department. I'm gonna pass these by Mr. Bouquet whenever he is available. One of the things they gave me is an affidavit for properties that refuse to keep up their property. The process that they presented to me is, I send out a letter, give them a chance one time if we cut it. If we cut it a second time within 30 days, we have an affidavit here that a judge can fill out, and every 30 days, we're allowed to cut it without notifying them. That's gonna be presented to Mr. Bouquet. They gave me a template,
Okay,
just so y'all know that's coming.
that sounds
Oh,
good.
that's
That'll save us, because I'm having some issues with people saying, hey, you know, we told them, and I told them, hey, it takes 5 or 6 weeks to get property cut, and well, Mr. Bouquet, we were just talking about this affidavit of, what would you
It's
call
an
it?
affidavit that allows us to,
You put it right
take
here.
care of properties, unkept properties without the 10-day notifications from the owners. The way it's explained to me is the affidavit, if you take care of a property twice within 30 days, you have a judge, fill out this affidavit for you, and gives us, as a town, permission to upkeep that property without the owner's permission.
Who signs the affidavit?
Whichever judge,
The judge?
yeah, we have to get a judge's order. It's an affidavit from a judge.
So would our city court judge be sufficient, or would it have to
Yes.
be a parish?
Yes, when they do theirs, they have a judge that comes in for special meetings every month, and they present these to them, and they sign it.
So, Mr.
Or-
Yeah, so Mr. Bouquet, we want you to look at this and see if we can't implement that here for the town of Iowa, using y'all's, using the traffic court, and I guess the ordinance court as a methodology of signing off of being able to do this, similar to what Lake Charles does.
Okay, well, we'll surely look at it and see if we can. It's possible that I think we may be able to, but I'll have to look at it closely.
Okay. Go ahead. The other thing is, we did give you the authority to appoint a curator for these properties where people did not show up for the second time that we gave notice to. So, you'd be thinking about where you would want to do, or who you might want to get to do that.
Yes, sir. I'll look at it. I'm sure there'll be someone who'd like to do it.
Okay?
The other two things I have here, I have a copy of a request for order certificate. And then this is a request from the Mayo Land Title Company. The city of Lake Charles uses these to get better information whenever they're tracking down homeowners. It will allow me to find out who has any liens on these properties, and it will allow me to find out all the heirs and all the owners of the properties.
Is that something that we'd have to subscribe to from the town
No, it's
perspective?
something that's gonna cost each time we use it.
Okay.
For the mortgage certificate, they said it was usually $20 every time they ran the query. And the Mayo Land Title, they don't have a price for that, but that'd be depending on how much work they have to do, I guess is what he said.
Okay.
The more they have to dig, the more it costs.
And when are, these are once it's turned over to the,
No, these are for situations we'll wanna take care of ourselves without a curator. This is just if
It
we
would
have to
probably
do
be
that.
for situations where you're not ready to appoint a curator.
that, he was saying that these were a position where you don't have a curator on those type of situations is what,
Okay, that's what I was thinking, when it was, explain it again, please, officer.
These two, they were explaining to me in situations where we have a junkyard, abandoned vehicles. We're given notice, they refuse to come to court. We're given a citation if they don't clean up in 15 days, and they got a 3-month period before they have to come answer to the judge. They don't report. We use these to find out, make sure that we've notified every single owner and every person
Okay.
that has a lien before we go in there and take all their stuff and charge them.
talking about those type of situations where, you have personal property or something that's, you know, junked, making sure that we've identified the correct person, you know, just an extra step, is what he's saying.
Okay, I see, that would make sense.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay to proceed with that, and, you know, we'll just watch it and try to be reasonable and judicious in the use, but, you know, if that's part of what we need to do and keep our process going and make sure we're keeping ourselves straight, I don't have a problem with it. Just, that's another case, let Mr. Bouquet just kind of look at it, just to look at and make sure we don't get any
Yes, we can
problem.
discuss it and use it when it's necessary, yes.
Okay, doke.
That's all I have.
Does anybody have anything they want to add, I guess, in closing here? Anybody in the audience wants to come up and make any comments to anything? Please step forward at this point. Okay. Julie, anything you want to add?
Yes, on Mr. Cudler's drawing,
Yes.
when I went and met with him the other day, I mentioned to him that, possibility of the Railroad Avenue,
Yeah, acquiring
possibly.
that property.
Correct.
Yeah,
and-
that's kind of why I was saying, we kind of do it in phases, because,
Okay.
you know, we may not need to turn that into
Cor-
parking lot, we can turn it into other things for
Right.
the park, you know, the advantage, and, you know, at some point, so,
And then also this access area, I don't know, he didn't mention it, but that's still gonna be,
you're still gonna have to
yeah,
have it,
come in,
yeah.
yeah, come in through there. And then he was gonna put all handicap around the Buddy Ball field, just because it's mostly
Makes sense.
handicap accessible, with a few being right here at the gate for, like, for tournaments and things like that.
And of course, we'll keep that middle field for this next year, just until, you know, I don't wanna convert it till we're
Correct.
farther along. You know,
Right,
we can
because-
still use it for
Well, the
the
president
smaller.
of the league called me earlier to find out, you know, what was going on, because he has so many people calling asking if we were gonna have a season next year, and I asked him to come to the meeting, but he was already committed to another function tonight. But that was my thing, is if we can get started, because we know by taking this field, which is where the girls play now, they're gonna have to have a field to play on back
Yeah.
here. And of course, we could keep the coach pitch in the back, the T-ball,
Yeah.
and this one right here, so you'll still have 3, and if you could put 2 more here.
And that's what I say, in the parking spots, you know, we can keep the fields that we got right, you know, whatever we can salvage out of that part as a temporary template, you know, just to get through a year. You know, so we have enough fields to get through next year, and then hopefully by the second year, then everything will be in place and no hurricanes.
I noticed here that on this drawing, it looks like the small pavilion is not here, and he has replaced it with some parking. I didn't know what anybody thought about that, if they noticed it. This is where the existing parking is right now.
Yeah, we need to keep some pavilions, you know,
Well,
for
that
use,
this,
so.
I mean, this is all here, but that's what I'm saying, I just noticed that this pavilion, but that's just a depiction on the paper. I
Yeah.
don't know if we wanna keep that up, that pavilion, and maybe depending on, you know, all the other parking spots that we have, if anybody wants to address that
But, okay.
for barbecuing and things like that, you know.
I guess at this point, you know, like I said, our focus that I'm trying to do is at least the 2 fields and the buddy field, and not take the parking spaces right now. I mean, if, you know, like those field, the middle field and stuff, so we can get a
Still
use out
play.
of it at least one
Right.
year, and then, you know, as soon as it's over, we start the other, to
Okay,
get it
yeah,
done, so.
yep, okay.
Right. Joe, you got anything? Gerald? I've got one thing, just be aware that we are, you know, we talked about that, the pickup of it throughout the town and everything. We're gonna put a notice on Wednesday. and make it that we're going to try to pick up everything with the exception of significant C and D. And I'm saying we will pick up some of the C and D, but if it's truly massive, you know, something that somebody should have taken care of as part of their normal repair of their house, you know, putting the sheetrock out there 10 foot tall, we're not going to expect that. We'll just go through our ordinance process. But we will be starting Friday, going through and starting to pick up the limbs, everything that hasn't been picked up before, you know, for over the next week of trying to get those things cleaned up and get our ditches cleaned up, get the stuff cleaned up out of the ditches. So that's going to start this week. We're going to put notice on the thing. So if somebody has things to put out there, you know, I mean, even, and of course, this next Saturday, we have our trash bash, which means if you've got anything to get rid of except for tires, batteries, and hazardous waste, you can bring it up here to the park and they will dispose of it. You know, we'll put it in and get rid of it. Electronics, it doesn't make a difference for that part of the stuff. So we're doing two things to try to get our town back in the shape it is. In addition, we have signed, or we've obtained a local person to start digging ditches and start, you know, trying to do that type of work. And it's based on a per day basis. One of the things that Pat's doing is first getting with Walt to make sure that we understand the water flow, or what the water flow should be, before we do all that, so that we make sure that what is done is going to improve and work toward making sure the flow is right for drainage. The other thing that's going on starting this week is we've identified and starting to work out on blowing out culverts. You know, I got with the fire board, and they're acceptable us to use a few times. You know, we're not going to go massive. We're just, you know, as time finds and as we need things and we identify culverts that have problems, you know, they're going to get out there and get them first, and we're going to keep a chart of where we need to get those. And talking about that, I will be visiting with the parish because they have some concerns about some issues they had related to culvert installation. My understanding, I think more their concern is right-of-way issues. So when we go to this program of installing culverts that we talked about, first we have to make sure that the town owns the right-of-way. We cannot do it on personal property. That's, for us, that's illegal. You can't go do work on somebody's private property. So if there's a ditch and they want a culvert, we have to make sure we have the right-of-way, or the landowner has to deed us that right-of-way so that we can do it. But then we will be responsible, just like everything else, of keeping the culverts clean, everything that we would normally do on our right-of-ways that we should do anyway. And of course, this is going to bring up something with you, Mr. Bouquet, because I understand there's a lot of places we may not have right-of-ways that we might have water lines on and stuff like that. We need to clean all of that stuff up. This will give us the opportunity to make sure that going forward that we do that for whatever reasons, you know, in the past that was. Because, you know, theoretically, we're not even allowed to cut the grass on areas that we don't have right-of-ways on, and we're trying to do that also. And, you know, we're getting aggressive on that. We're looking to hire some part-time high school people, you know, that want to come in and make $12, $13 an hour to help cut grass for the summer, to try to get that back in shape as part of all this that we're doing to improve our town and get it back up to and better than pre-hurricane view, so that people will be proud to live in here in the town of Iowa. So I'm sorry it's quite a bit, but go ahead.
Quickly, you said about we were going to make one more pass-through town.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Has that been established?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They're going to start Friday.
Friday,
That's what I'm saying. They're going to, you know, I don't know where they're going to start. I've talked with Pat, and he's got some areas that people say that was missed at some point in the last time. We want to get those out first, because, you know, some cases they're in flood areas, and we're trying to do that. We know it's going to take about 2 weeks to do this, and we want to get them with all the rains to keep keep flooding to a minimum.
Who's gonna do your digging in the ditches?
Honestly, I don't have the guy's name, but I can get, I'll get Pat to give it to you.
Kate's Land Solutions.
Okay, y'all
Kate's
familiar?
Land Solutions.
Okay, Kate's Land Solution.
He lives right there next, 2 houses down from me, Gerald, Floyd's old house. That little bitty house, Valerie.
Good. Before we start digging, you know, I told y'all the deal with Mr. Now, the mayor 6 years ago, long time ago. When we did a couple streets there, we shot grades to see, you can't have 9 different dimensions of colors, and the way they used to do it, they wouldn't shoot a grade
No,
years ago. They dig 3 inches and throw it in here, so you got this covered, this covered, this covered. If they're not done right, it's not gonna.
no, we're gonna do right. That's why he's getting with Mr., with Walt, first off, to figure out where the flows actually go. And then that's all part of what they're going to do. I'm gonna expect is that we take the extra effort to do it right. Now, we won't be able to replace different size culverts. That'll fall under the culvert plans as we're putting those in. You know, we will pick those up at some level. It's just, we're taking baby steps to do the right thing, to make sure we're doing it right off the bat correctly. And that's, you know, and that's why the program only put 200,000 in there initially. I suspect we'll have a lot more demand than that, but it's gonna be on a first come, first served basis. And of course, that's where we found out about this right-of-way issue, that, you know, we may have some issues. If you come up and put it on and we find out we don't have the right-of-way, that has to be resolved.
Right away to the ditches or
Yes,
to the water?
yes, yes, that's what I'm talking about. You know, we talk about the culverts, putting them in there, and it's the same way even for digging the ditches. If we don't have the right of way, for the ditches, then the question is, can we even dig, to be honest with you? And that's all got to be answered before the first, and I'm saying, the only reason I'm bringing it up is it's been brought to my attention that we do have some of that located in the town where the town does not have a defined right-of-way. We just have to be serious and very cognizant of those areas, and where we don't, we either have to have the landowner agree to it, or we can't do anything about it without getting Mr. Bouquet involved in a lot of headaches and a lot of effort. So we're gonna do what we can within the law to make sure we're not violating anything, as well as making sure we have the right grades, that we've got the flow going correctly. You know, the digging of ditches is going to be different from the culvert program, of course. You know, but that's part of it, is establishing that as we go out. So, and I'll get Pat to get with you on that. You know, because he's, you know, I've been pretty adamant on him that he needs to make sure all that's in place before we kick it all off. And it's getting fairly quick to start kicking off. I know they've kicked off the hydrant, you know, using the fire trucks to clean the culverts. That's starting. And then we've identified some very high-risk areas on drainage that we want to get started on, but I want to make sure he knows he needs to get all that documentation and all of that correctly identified before we do the first time. There was something else I was going to tell you. Oh, the other one is, the other thing we talked about on the fire board that we're going to do is every month we're going to do flushing of lines in conjunction with fire hydrant testing. We did not do fire hydrant testing last year because everything that's gone on. That's a PIAL violation. And what I've talked about is, we've talked about having to do line flushings throughout the town anyway. That as part of that, we're going to do 1/12 of all our hydrants. The first part is we're going to do the testing that's required for the documentation. But then at that time, we're also going to do hydrant flushing of those that we tested. Now, that doesn't mean we might not go ahead and flush other hydrants depending on what's going on, but we are going to do 1/12 of them to make sure our PIAL is met, that our fire hydrants are working, that they're, you know, if we got problems, we can fix them instead of just doing it. Well, we were doing it once a year. It's been a couple of years. So there may be hydrants out that aren't working. We need to find that out and find it out quick.
Before there's a fire.
Yeah. sorry about that, that's another thing I need to bring in, I'm glad you said so. But that brings you up to date with everything since last week, so, any other questions? Entertain a motion to dismiss?
So moved.
Second.